Hello, everyone. Thank you for resisting until the end. I'm very happy to present this piece of research from the group that worked on it. So it's a collaboration between two universities in Romania. Three of us are from the West University of Timișoara, from the CODUS Center. And then we have Ana Maria Bucur, who is from the University of Bucharest. Now, the motivation behind this research actually comes from a gap in resources for academic writing in Romanian, especially when compared to English, where we can find a lot of learning and teaching resources for learning academic writing. And you probably know how hard this is, especially for students and early career researchers to learn how to write and publish internationally and nationally. And that's why we would like to fill in this gap and create a Romanian Phrasal academic lexicon to support academic writing in Romanian. Okay, just briefly, I'll talk about the research that has been done on academic multi-word units internationally. So the majority of research has been conducted in the field of English for academic purposes. And the main goal was to develop a core academic phrasal lexicon that could be used across disciplines, so that researchers from all disciplines could have at least a list of phrases that they could use in their writing. These academic multi-word units are usually extracted using computational methods, and then they are assigned rhetorical and functional categories. The focus is usually on those phrases that can help writers convey their message effectively. And I will give you some examples here, some learning resources. So this one is very famous. It's called the Manchester Academic Phrase Bank. And the top is, let's say, the functional category or the rhetorical category. So, for example, if someone wanted to talk about the lack of previous research on a specific topic, they could maybe use some of these phrases to glue their discourse together, let's say. And maybe, I don't know, if they are discussing findings, they could use some of the other phrases to discuss their findings, sorry. Another way these phrases have been used are in creating learners' dictionaries. So this one is from Oxford, and it's a website with these phrases that have been extracted, and they can be filtered based on some categories. Again, if, for example, if you wanted to compare something, you can select, and the platform will give you some phrases that you can use. And lastly, they have been integrated in AI writing platforms. I have here one example, it's Writeful. And here again, you can see how they integrated it. So they took it and used it as a phrase bank. And they also use it to give feedback on one's writing. Okay, so we have all these resources for English, but unfortunately for Romanian and for other under-resourced languages, not that much. That's why we have some objectives for this study. So first, we want to create this Romanian Phrasal academic lexicon that we are going to call ROPAL. We want to annotate these phrases based on rhetorical functions, and we compared these phrases across expert and student writing in order to validate our lexicon. And then we wanted to verify the capacity of ROPAL to support automatic assessment of academic writing in Romanian. Okay, a few words about the methodology. So we used two corpora, the Express corpus and the Roger corpus. So Express is a reference corpus of Romanian academic writing. It's about 3 million words, and it contains one genre, and that is research articles taken from high-impact journals. And we have a few disciplines covered. We have economics, linguistics, IT, and political science. Then Roger is a learner corpus of Romanian student writing. And here we have quite a lot of student genres, such as essays, research papers, BA theses, and so on. And it's about 1 million words. And the disciplines are, again, economics, humanities, computer science, and political science. These were built at our research center, so we wanted to make them as comparable as possible in terms of disciplines. And we also used the Romanian academic word list. which is a set of academic words that are frequently encountered in academic texts. It is derived from the expert corpus, and it's a list of 673 lemmas distributed among the main part of speech categories. Okay, and now I'm going to tell you how we developed our lexicon. So the lemmas from the raw AVL list were used as node words, and we extracted collocations of 2 to 6 words from Express containing the raw AVL lemmas. We did have some criteria for this extraction. So a collocation had to occur at least 10 times per million words and had to occur in a minimum of 5 different texts. We had to do some manual filtering as well because we had to remove the shorter collocations that were part from larger phrases. And we ended up with 794 collocations. We have more 2 grams and then 3 grams, 4 grams, and 5 grams. Here you can see a table. So we have the collocation in Romanian, and we also provide the English translation. Okay, we then classified them. We tried to classify them. We looked at models like Opal and Manchester Phrase Bank in order to categorize them. Unfortunately, since Romanian academic writing is a little bit different from English academic writing, we couldn't just take those classifications and we had to adapt them. And here we had to use the expertise of the team in Romanian linguistics and didactics. And we came up with 10 categories. We developed these categories for the first 129 phraseological units on the list because this was done manually, so it was quite labor intensive. We had to look at contexts and verify. We had to check with each other, so we couldn't really have the time to do it for everything. But we believe that it's a good enough sample to start with. Now, some of the categories are quite similar to the English ones. For example, talking about literature review or giving examples and so on. Here you can see that we also have one word. Well, this is the examples translated from Romanian, but in Romanian is 2 or more words. Okay, now in order to validate this lexicon, we performed some tests, and we wanted to see the coverage of this list, first in the corpus of expert academic writing, and then in the student writing. And in the expert writing is, of course, bigger, as you can see. Even if 3.6% seems quite small, it's actually in line with previous research that has been done on English academic writing. So this is also encouraging. Then we searched the top 10 collocations in the Roger corpus, so in the student writing. And we actually found an even poorer representation. So you can see here all these zeros. We could hardly find many of them. Now, these tests highlight the differences in academic phrase use between expert and novice writers. Okay. And then we took this study one step further, and we looked across disciplines in expert writing. So we wanted to see if researchers used those phrases differently, depending on the disciplines they came from. And we did actually find some interesting things. So it turned out that in economics and in information technology, they used more specialized phrases, usually related to technical aspects, as you can see here. I don't know, maybe growth trend or database analysis. And they focused less on the discourse itself. And this was very different from the political sciences and linguistics, where they use more rhetorical strategies, such as introducing multiple perspectives and discussing sources, using more connective phrases, as you can see here, from the point of view, on the other hand, and so on. with all these interesting findings in mind, we actually developed a pilot ROPAL list that is freely available and can be used for educational purposes. So every teacher can take it, can print it out, can use it for exercises in order to teach their students. And of course, this list is also available online for other computational applications. Okay, now I'll just move on and briefly talk about some conclusions. So we are actually quite happy with the results because the lower coverage percentages in the novice writing when compared to expert writing actually validated ROPAL's utility for using it to assess academic writing proficiency. And we are happy that we could also provide a pilot ROPAL list that can be already used. And of course, we do have plans with it. We wanted to adapt it to various disciplines and investigate these differences even more. And we would like that future studies could use this list for AI tools that could be used at text correction, suggestion, and assessment in Romanian. Thank you. And if you'd like to know more about us, here, this is the link of our research center. And I'll be happy to take questions.